for the first time. What is about to unfold can change their lives, and it could change our justice system. It's a little-known approach, face-to-face meetings, victims telling teenage criminals how the crime hurt them.
Then judging whether the young offender deserves sympathy or tough treatment in the courts. This process comes at a time of little faith in our system. Our Pulse of Canada survey this month showed that 83% of Canadians believe the justice system is not tough enough on young offenders. Those confrontations with the offender are showing real results. As Jill Croteau reports, it's powerful justice, but it's an ordeal for the victims.
It only takes a split second to make a bad decision, but it's that one moment in time that can alter lives forever. When someone chooses to commit a crime, they don't always pay for their consequences behind bars, in locked facilities, hidden from the world. Far too often, those who pay for the crimes aren't the criminals. Justice isn't always served in the eyes of the victims. But now there's a unique program designed to empower the victims and help keep the criminals from reoffending. So could the damage between an offender and their victim ever be repaired? Two people victimized by a pair of young offenders had the rare opportunity to confront one of the boys who had robbed them at knife point.
That I saw the two boys enter the office, and they were dressed all in black, and they had toques over their face with the eyes cut out, and continued swearing, saying, "Give me the money that's in the till."
I just heard Jody scream, "I can't do it. I don't know how."
Charles, the manager of a community center, had just hired Jody less than 2 weeks ago. She had no experience on the cash register.
The one boy came around the desk, and he put his arm around me, and then he put the knife to my throat.
My first gut instinct was to take him down. But then I realized that Jody was being held with a knife to her throat.
He sort of stepped forward to make sure I was okay when the other boy had come around. And at that point, the other boy sort of went to stab at him, like to get him to hold back, and he hit the wall, which startled the boy who had me. And at that point, he slammed me up against the wall, and he grabbed the till and just ripped it out of the wall.
To see one of my staff in such a helpless situation where I couldn't come in and help out was really tough.
I watched the boys run out and across the field, and until I couldn't see them anymore, I could put that guard down, and my legs just sort of gave out, and I fell to the floor.
The violent episode took only minutes, but it nearly destroyed her life.
That first night, I slept on the couch so that I could be near the front door, and I don't know what the reasoning was behind that, but I think it was just a sense of I could escape if I needed to. And I spent the entire summer upstairs with my mom because I needed that parental closeness. I felt like I was a child again that couldn't be alone.
So after suffering such heartache, could they put it all behind them? Could they find forgiveness? The only way to find out is to come face to face with the person responsible.
I'm going to be sitting in a circle looking at the boy who instilled all this fear in me.
It's incredibly nerve-wracking, but even the young offender, who we'll call Jeff, agrees to hear what his accusers have been longing to say to him. Because he's a young offender, we can't reveal his identity.
If someone ran in and held a knife to me, I would never forgive that person.
But facing reality won't be easy. While his parents support the idea, they do have some anxiety about what their son will be up against.
You're now confronting the people that you did this thing to, so you gotta start out defensive. So for a 16-year-old boy, you're pretty defensive all the time, especially when you're facing your accusers.
The meeting will be guided by facilitators with Calgary Community Conferencing. Nearly 8 years ago, the team was formed by the efforts of Youth Probation Services and the City of Calgary.
And what this offers is an opportunity for students or young people to really develop some empathy, to walk in the other person's shoes and to see how their actions have harmed another person.
Sometimes when we meet victims, it's, thank you, nobody has ever asked me how I feel or how I'm doing, and I have some questions that need to be answered, and this is the only way that it could happen.
Those working on the front lines with these young offenders are the first to approach the victims.
It's very different to go testify in a courtroom or simply to go sit in a courtroom and be present during a sentencing process than it is to actually sit down face to face with a youth and spend
an evening or an afternoon really discussing this offense and the impact.
There's no telling what's going to happen when the two sides meet again and the doors close behind them. For Jody and Charles, there's definitely anxiety.
You almost expect that he's going to come in with the mask on, you know, because that's what you've seen. How do you forgive a child for making you so scared that you have to sleep with your mom at the age of 24?
For Global News, this is Jill Croteau reporting.
And we continue our special series tomorrow night. Our cameras were allowed the rare opportunity to tape their face-to-face meeting and capture the remarkable results of that confrontation. Tomorrow on the NewsHour, we'll show you what happens when they all meet again.